As always, I'm using the Fractal theory, explanation video, rules, how it works, and so on. I will link at the end of this video. Okay, well then, let's jump in. So, before we start today, two things. First, because I really get more and more bots and scammers in the comments. You have to imagine I ban, I think, 50 bots for every video. Yeah, and with scammers, I mean things like join my WhatsApp group and you get rich and blah, blah, blah. These such of scammers. And I think my ban list is now already at 500-600 people. They always make new accounts. It's terrible. And I don't have the time to sit at least 1 hour in all on the comments to catch these idiots. That's why I try to change something right now. So the first thing I would try change is only people with subs will be able to write comments. The free sub, yeah, no money, just the free sub. Maybe this is helping, yeah. If not, I have to think about something else. Second thing, which is a little bit worse, is I think there's a lot of people, or not a lot of people, but some people with a very big misunderstanding here. Yeah? Because it happens more and more often that I get messages like, I ask you that you track me this stock. I'm waiting now since 3 videos. What the fuck? You have to do that, you idiot. Or even worse things. Yeah, to these people, I really just say, fuck you. I deliver here free content. Yeah, if you don't know how to ask, because I also can miss things, I also can forget things, or maybe I don't have time. Yeah, I think a lot of people here already know and saw when you are asking for stocks, and when I have time, I will track them and I will show them. But if you don't know how to behave, fuck you, you're banned. Pretty easy as that. Same thing if someone is really going on my nerves and really want to convince me that another theory is better and right and I am wrong. To make that absolutely clear, I am showing my version. I am showing my thoughts. I'm showing my tracking. It makes no sense to discuss with me with other theories. That's not, we can do that in our free time, but that's not the reason for this channel. This channel is only about the fractal theory. If you like it, if you believe it, if you think it's working or not, the channel is only about this. And to make also one thing absolutely clear, I am not selling a $500 trading Discord. I am not selling memberships. I am not selling a trading course. This is all free. I will let us, how do you say that? It will stay like that. Yeah, it's just my thoughts. It's also my personal trading journal, just to say that. And maybe if the channel getting bigger, yeah, I maybe will earn some money from YouTube commercials, maybe. But there won't be a paid Discord, there won't be a course, there won't be memberships. So it's absolutely free. I own nobody of you anything. Yeah, I'm always truthful to you. If I see something bad, I will say it, even if I lose a lot of viewers. I always said, if I see something bad, I will show that. I don't lie. And yeah, if you don't like it, go somewhere else. Yeah. And one last thing, you can ask me everything. I said that every time. If you behave, everything is okay. In the moment, yeah, in the moment you're using bad words, you're gone forever. Yeah, then the ban list getting bigger and bigger. I don't care. Good. One thing I will change now for every video, because I think on some points there could be misunderstandings, especially for AMC, GME, and beyond, especially for beyond, because of my English or whatever. From now on, I will always show the bullish, the bearish version, if there is one, and at the end of every tracking, I will give a conclusion. Yeah, that has nothing to do with the bullish or bearish version. I just give the conclusion what I think. So there are no misunderstandings. Okay, so enough blah blah blah. Now to the tracking, because this time I will do a kind of roadmap 2.0. Yeah, it was already a nearly 2 hour video on the German channel, so this will be a big one. We start with AMC. So, because we talk today about everything again. All in all, I would imagine that AMC is in a megaphone pattern. To fix this fucking chart, to fix the whole company, yeah, it would make sense that if we're doing a 1-part or a 2-part squeeze, doesn't matter if it's this year, next year, or 2028, AMC should come up here again to the upper side of the megaphone, yeah, or it will die. In that case, yeah, it's stupid price targets. But I mean, it's the same here. You went the upper trend line, you fall down to the lower megaphone, you come up to the upper megaphone, you fall to the lower megaphone. The next step or the next few steps, yeah, it doesn't matter if it's weeks, months, years, should be the upper megaphone. Yeah. For the tracking, what happened in 2021? You made your V. You broke out of your downtrending channel here. And it doesn't matter if this is A or B, yeah, because there's some discussion, is this an A or is this a B? Yeah. I like to throw this as an A, yeah, but if you say this is a B, well, then A is somewhere in the squeeze candle, yeah, and if you say this is an A, yeah, well, then B is somewhere in this squeeze candle, yeah. It's just labeling, yeah, it doesn't change anything. You broke out of this trend. You made a breakout retest out of this trend. I mean, trend lines you can draw like you want, yeah, that's why trend lines are But what we 100% did was a 618 pullback. Then we did the sideways shit, and then we went into the second part of the squeeze. And since then, we are falling and falling and falling. We did our low high, our midpoint, fell down into May 2024, did our second squeeze. This was our last time to sell for the bullish tracking before we fell to our all-time low for the bullish tracking. Before we look what we have done down here, the next question is, are you looking for a 1-part or a 2-part squeeze? I am looking for a 2-part squeeze. Why? Just because in 2021 we did a 2-part squeeze. That's the answer. Yeah. I'm okay with a 1-part squeeze. Yeah. If we do a 1-part squeeze in 2026, yeah, okay. Something over all-time high. Do it. Yeah. This is for me the 1-part squeeze. We have to open here in the price target for something over all-time highs. I would say maximum $800. But why not? Yeah. If we do a 2-part squeeze, we have to go over this red trend line. And we have to go so high that when we fall back, we will touch this trend line with a 618 fib. So we're taking from our low, our fib, and then we look, how high we could go that in the downfall we would break the 618. And in that case, yeah, $100 to $180. Because look, that's the point where you hit the 618 and not breaking under the trend line again. Yeah. For a 2-part squeeze, I would still say this will be done in a few days, maximum a week. for if we do that. And then we do this sideways shit. I'm still opinion that this sideways shit will take you in 2027, maybe even into 2028. Yeah, just saying. This is not something quick. Then you would have the chance for the second part, which would bring us even higher, because as longer as this take, as higher this trend line gets. Yeah. Okay, so now into the micro tracking thing. Okay. We start with the super duper pooper bullish version. And for this, I really have to say, as I said, yes, and already in the last video, we need to start to see gaps. We need to start to see gaps. In the best way, see gaps next Monday. Yeah, because what I also wanted to show, or already talked about it, in 2021, we had, I think, exactly here, the news that the 200 million dilution was finished. And then we gapped. Last Friday, we got the news that the 150 million dilution was completed. So even news are ready for a fucking gap. If we gap, perfect. Gap over 13 and ole. Yeah, that is the super duper whatever bullish version. If we continue with this bullshit, with 10-20% a day up and down, I get a little bit worried. I showed that already, because then we just do this. Yeah, I would say for our B, it's something between $3 and $4.55 ish. That would be our B. Then we would get a 0.5 pullback. And then we would go up again to our C. Why is that a problem? I mean, you could still make money with this. That's not a problem. The problem is, if we not start doing gaps, in my opinion, this C will reject this trend line. This one here. And not only that, this would become our main T. And in that case, this would be end of June, July. Low high, midpoint, T, new all-time low. Yeah. Between 80, 40, 30 cents. And this will take you till next year. 100%. Yeah. Would be a shit version. Really, would be shit. But to not do this, for fuck's sake, we need gaps. Yeah. Also, same thing, before we go into micro position, if we do that. Same thing would be if we were checked here. Yeah. Or here. Yeah. Then you would still do a lower high. You would come pretty close to the no-no line. You will bounce. Everyone will cheer. You will go up in July. This would be still a lower high. You would still do a lower high, and so on and so on. Same version. The macro position for this is September 20 or November 2020. This is the alternative. Yeah. That you are doing this or this, if you not start to do gaps. Yeah. Otherwise, if we start doing gaps, I would imagine that we are here or here. Yeah, these are the only 2 points. January 15 or January 22nd. Yeah. If we are in January 15, which kinda is losing logic, because we are a little bit too high with the price action, we could still see a gap next week, but we would still do a pullback till Friday. And then it's the week after. But I say that again, I'm not tracking AMC bullish into July. Yeah, we already over time. We need to see fucking moves. Yeah, it makes no sense. Yeah, and I won't do that like so many others made. We go 100% in June. Yeah, we go 100% in July. Okay. We go 100% in August. Okay, we go 100% in October. And I'm not doing that till December, like some special people. Yeah, no. June is our last chance. Yeah, I already said it in May. Yeah, and it looks good. AMC looks good, but I'm not going into July. No. For the conclusion. So here the conclusion. For AMC alone, and what I mean with that, if I would look at AMC completely alone, without AMC and without GME, without cause, I am bullish. We will talk about the three AMC, cause, GME in a whole after we talked about the GME tracking. Breaking of 246, bullish. Breaking of 406, extreme bearish. And at the same time, dangerous. Because from here to $9, every rejection, big rejection, and I mean something like this here. So, yeah. If we see something like that, it's fucking extreme bearish, because we don't know, is this just a pullback and squeeze, or was that the top and we going till end of year? Yeah. And of course, everything under 143, which makes no sense right now, if we do something like that, makes no sense for me right now. Yeah, but if we do that, ultra bearish. Yeah, there's no bullish alternative then anymore for this year. Okay, good. That was AMC. Now let's jump into GME. Okay, for GME, the whole tracking again. Yeah. First of all, we look at this major trend line. It's from the IPO with a little hump over it, and it was the rejection line of 2021. Of course, you could now say, yeah, but it's not a real trend line. Yeah, of course, you could do it like this. Yeah, then we have way higher price target for our next squeeze. Yeah, maybe, really maybe. I like this one better, and that's what I meant with it depends how and who is drawing the trend line. Just because you have most touch points. Yeah, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and it was the end of 2021. Yeah. So, that doesn't really matter. Then we had our V in April 2020, and we did our first squeeze. Then I mark this as an A. This whole thing is for me our A. Then we did a wonderful 0.5 pullback and bounced in May 2024. And in my opinion, still, we have now two versions, a bullish and a bearish one. This whole thing since 2024 is a higher low. Yeah, this is a higher low to A. And here comes then the two versions, but we will talk about that. Before we talk about this micro tracking, what would be if we squeeze now? If we squeeze now, then our target, in my opinion, is again this trend line, means $400-ish, and then rejection. Maybe you're doing the same like 2008, where you go a little bit over it. It's also okay. But you won't hear from me 2,000, 5,000, 100 million, whatever bullshit. Yeah, just because I need something I can hang on. This is this trend line. Same as AMC. You will knife after you got this peak. Only difference is, like GME is always doing, shortly after you will do your lower high, which will come pretty close to this level again. But then this pullback here, this will take years. Yeah, what I mean with years, look at this. This took years. This took years. Yeah. This here took 1,100 days, and this took 760 days. This will take years. Yeah, and if someone is looking then still, then we can go to maybe $1,000. Yeah. So now to the micro tracking. First, we start with the bullish version, and I already showed that there's only one version, one way you can do that, and that would mean that from April 2024 till the Japanese crash in August 2024, this has to be one finished fractal. Has to be. And after that, we did the first higher low. And right now we're doing the second higher low. The only way to make GME bullish is if you do it like that. Problem is, as I'm always saying, that this fucking stock isn't moving. And we already ran out of time. There is no time left. Yeah, look at this shit. What we did since the EB news. We are kissing this fucking death trend line every fucking day, every fucking week, and reject. So, last version for this to fucking be bullish is high low, second high low, the same shit we did here. Same shit. Yeah. We have to bounce here and go. Best case would be next week gap up. Really. We have to go up. That's the simple version of the bullish version. The bearish version makes more sense, sadly. And that means that this whole thing is a higher low. But it was never finished. Because if you're already following me longer, you will know a higher low is ending in under the 786. Or if you know it, V under A. And our V under A is here. That's our A bottom. And that's 1361. If this is true, you will fall down. Because also, that's the next thing. You have your top here, you see. You made your lower high. Your lower high started here on May 2024. The lower high ended here because the main letters are starting and are finished when they are doing a lower low. The lower high was ended here. So here, your M started and it never finished. It never finished. We never made a lower low than this. So in that case, you will go down. You will break 17, 16-ish. You will get a bounce here. That's the stupid part. Everyone on X and so on, hey, see, I told you that GME goes to 17. And I told you, now we can squeeze. The problem with this is, I think, yeah, you will get a bounce here. You will come up. You won't break this trend line. This will be your T. And then you go till October, November to your 1360. Higher low, and then 2027 you could squeeze. If we do that. Yeah. But if we do that, I would look at like this. Yeah. And especially if we micro track this even more, I really want to see a trend change for GME. Because if you just look at this, we have clearly our top, the EB news. We made our lower high. We made our M. If we not fucking see this trend change, maybe you go a little bit up next week. You are rejecting $22. You will fall again. Maybe you come up again, but I think in the next week or the next 2 weeks, if this is bearish, you will break 2091. And if you break 2091, I tell you, shortly you will also break 1962. And if you break 1962, there is no way to track this bullish. At least not for 2026. Yeah. Only my thinking. Yeah. So, for the conclusion for GameStop. So, this is the conclusion for GME alone. Without AMC, without cost, without these. I'm bearish on GME just because of this bullshit here. Yeah. For levels, if we go next week or the week after latest over $24, that would be a trend change. That would be a relief because then, okay, we can really start tracking bullish again. If we break over 26, fuck the BS. Really, bearish alternative is death. That we are on the way. If we're falling in the next 2 weeks, or I would even say next week, under $20.91, oh my God, bad, really bad. If we break even under 1962, there is, for me personally, no way to track GME bullish in 2026. In that case, really, fucking, no financial advice, fucking buy puts for $13 for January. Yeah. The conclusion for everything together, we'll look at that yet now. So, my problem because cost looks great. AMC looks great. The only thing which is shit right now is GameStop. Why? Because maybe you heard that already from other people. AMC is squeezing and gapping from its lows. GME is squeezing and breaking from its highs. Right now, AMC is fucking running and GME is fucking falling. And that's also something we never did. Yeah, because, for example, left side for our chart GME in 2021. Right side AMC 6-hour chart in 2021. Back here, when AMC, I think you see that, yeah. When AMC did its higher low on January 15, or even going to its January 2020 or 2022 landmark, look what GME did in back then. It already fucking ran. We are not doing that right now. Okay, was only 2021. Well, then we look in 2024 for AMC and GME. Here's 2024 for AMC, here's 2024 for GME. In the moment AMC were doing its high low, and I think we're already over this point. What did GME do? It already fucking ran. It was already up. Again, GME is not doing that. GME is not on this level right now. So what the fuck? Really? If AMC wouldn't look so fucking great right now, I would say it's bad. Really, I would just say fuck it. We are in tri-peak, yeah, for AMC, and we die. And to make that absolutely clear, yeah, again, if AMC is rejecting $10 to $9, we are here November 20, or we are in September 2020. One of these 2 points we are in. Yeah, that is the alternative. In that case, lower high into July or lower high into July and die. Yeah, that's the alternative. Yeah, for AMC. And for GME, it's death. Pretty easy. The conclusion for all three together. You can tell me now, okay, maybe this time is different. Maybe GME, they switched places. Maybe AMC is going now earlier and GME is coming after it. Again, it would be the first time in history since 2021 we are doing that. Can I say that's 100% not possible? No. But then it's not trackable, which I don't believe. 90% of the time, when you think, okay, that looks weird, something is changing the fractal, 90% of the time, or even 95% of the time, it's not changing. You're just looking too bullish at the wrong landmark. Or maybe they are not synced anymore. In that case, AMC is getting its squeeze and GME is dying. Would also be the first time. Do I have proof for that? No. Yeah. So I would say, just as an idea, no financial advice, because AMC looks great. I wouldn't play GME. Yeah. Because let's say I'm right. Yeah. Then AMC is doing this. You can still make money with that. If I'm wrong and we are squeezing, you're making a lot of money with AMC. So win-win. For GME is the problem, if I'm right, you won't break $24 in 2026 again. Yeah, not this year. You're very live. So you're not making money with this. If I'm wrong, you make money. But here's the clue. I think with AMC, you make money either way. GME, you have a 50-50% in my view. So for the conclusion, I want to see gaps. Yeah, I'm not tracking also GME into July. Yeah, I want to see something. I want to see a trend change here, or it gets bad very fucking quick. Okay. Then let's jump into BYND. So here today, we also talk about the whole thing again. Yeah. BYND started its IPO, I think, in the half run to its C. Yeah, because we don't see B, we don't see A. We just see the last run to C, in my opinion. Then we did unser all-time low, all-time high, lower high, midpoint T. For the bullish tracking was October 2025, our absolute all-time low, our V. And then since October, we're doing this fucking big higher low. Okay, before we look into this here, next target, big target, is still our macro A. Yeah, has to be over T, has to be under M. So something between $15 and $44. Also here, you could say from our V point, we are not allowed to break this trend line again. It should be a breakout retest. How high could you go? So if you're only doing a 0.5, your target is $25. Up, breakout retest, ole. Or if you want to see a 618, it could also be $41. Breakout retest, ole. One point I really want to make. First of all, yeah, my price target is still July, August. If we ending this down here bullish, it should still be the peak between July and August. Is here a long time ago. Second, this pullback after that, if we do that. Because don't rely on the drawing on this time frame here, and only draw that so you can see it. Yeah? This pullback here will take till at least 2027. Just look at all the pullbacks from our macro letters. Here, 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 here. All of these took long. L to L low was 470 days. M to M low, 460 days. T to all-time low, 608 days. V to our low now, 181 days. This will take time, just saying. Yeah. Of course, if we look at our L landmark, our T landmark, our higher low landmark, if this is going bullish, we could also just see a squeeze. I'm not saying it's not possible, because look how vertical these are. Yeah, it's possible. Okay, now at the micro tracking here. Let's look. So, one bullish, one bearish version. To the conclusion we come then. So, for the bullish version, the only thing which is working is that this is a higher low. Only version. Yeah. And I said for this, I don't want to fall under the MT line. Yeah. So my target, I don't want to break is 64, 63, something like that. But I also said I am losing landmarks. Yeah. What I mean with that, we did our peak, our C, low high, midpoint, T. It would makes no sense for me if we're now doing something like this then, and I call this T. That doesn't make sense for me. Yeah. So the small middle T is finished. Yeah. Then also it's finished because it started here. It's already ended. Yeah. Also, if we track this here, micro track this shit here, then we have our C, low high, midpoint, T. On Friday or Wednesday, no, on Wednesday, we made this V. If this is okay, we would still now do a higher low. I think this is not quite finished because we would still need the 786, so 67 cents, for example. Yeah, I mean, we are talking about 1 cent. Yeah, 1 cent or 180%. Yeah, this is easily done in pre-market. And you know, Monday, Fridays is always the move for beyond. And then just trend change and go. The only alternative for this would be that this is a T and you still need one more lower low. For this, again, I don't want to fall under this trend line. I really don't want for the bullish thesis. And then you go. It's also not much. Yeah. The bearish alternative is simply and easy as if you want a 100% number, yeah, for me, it's already breaking under this trend line. So breaking 63, 62, 60 cents, this trend line. Yeah, that's for me absolutely bearish. If you want to have 100% confirmation, if you break 57 cents, it's not 2026. Why? Because this higher low is broken. This becomes M or T. And if this is becoming M or T, you will break all-time low. And if you break all-time low, this higher low is dead. If this higher low is dead, this higher low becomes T. And then it's not about price, yeah, because you will find somewhere down here 30, 40, 20, 10 cents. Yeah. First of all, they already are now voted for a reverse split. They will do that down here. Second, you still had to do the higher low then. This is not 2026. So this here is not 2026 anymore. Because your highest target is then what? $3, $5-ish. Yeah. So the whole house of cards is breaking. If you break 57 cents, yeah, the play is over. Yeah. So for the conclusion, for beyond, let's look. So here the conclusion. And believe it or not, I am bearish on beyond. I am bearish since we broke the 70 cents. I mean, maybe there is a misunderstanding on this. My level was the break of 70 cents. I am bearish because with this break, this was our previous A. I am bearish. Yeah, there is a way to make this higher low. It's the only way to make this bullish. And I always try to show an alternative. But as long as we're not bouncing and we're not going over 80 cents, I am bearish. Because I tracked this so long and spent so much time on it, and because I could see that it is a weird higher low, I moved my stop loss to 63 cents. And just to make that clear, guys, because many of you don't know that, I have a viewer who uses Elliott Wave and is going on my nerves pretty long. And I think he's not watching every video or misunderstanding me. Yeah? So for you to make that bearish, to make that clear, I still have my position. I said I changed my stop loss. I said that. I also said I'm bearish still on beyond because my level was 70 cents. I also said in other videos that I'm working with other people. But to make that absolutely clear, if you don't like this theory, yeah, for this special person, go watch someone else and don't go on my nerves. I think that was clear. So for everyone else who is still watching, I'm bearish on beyond till the moment we're going over 80 cents. If we go over 80 cents, and why I'm talking about this, here, if we go over 80 cents, that's bullish. That's trend change. I mean, you could also already say trend change is here. Yeah. But I mean, yeah, the confirmation for this would be trend change over 80 cents. That is bullish. And then I would change this to bullish again. Yeah? If you go over 84 cents, that's very bullish. And if you break $1.15, we are not talking about bearish alternatives anymore. Pretty easy. As long as we are down here, yeah, I'm bearish. I'm not changing that. And of course, everything under 57 cents, and this thing is dead, sadly. Yeah, we spent a lot of time with this. Yeah, and this looked great. I mean, it maybe could still be. Yeah, maybe this is a weird high low. We have to see. Yeah, I think Monday will be telling. Yeah, next week should be telling, because if we not reversal here and still fucking knifing, I think we will get the answer next week. But when BYND is showing us again a Monday, Friday move again, I think we also get our answer for the bullish side already next week. So let's see. Okay, next one, FFAI. So for FFAI, it could get interesting, especially if our bullish version for AMC and GME is playing out. Because for FFAI, here in 2021, January 2021, it ran with AMC and GME. Maybe it was coincidence. Maybe it's doing it again, if they are going. For the main tracking, we have our peak, low high, midpoint, T. For the bullish tracking, April 2026 has to be the all-time low. It has to be. Before we look into the micro tracking here, our next target for A is something over 4, for B something over 43, and C all-time highs. Yeah. Without a forward split, 153 is your maximum target. Why? Because you already had a 1 to 40, 1 to 3, and 1 to 80 reverse split. If you bought here and you're waiting that FFAI is selling a share for $124, $1,000, nah. I mean, maybe it's the 1%. I never saw that. I really have, maybe. Wrote me in the comments if you saw any stock which did this reverse split and came without a forward split up here again and was selling a share for 100 million or whatever. I don't know. I really don't know. If you know a stock which did that, show me. Otherwise, my target would be maximum 153. But I think we don't see A and B, because if you look at the runs, they are most of the time vertical. So if we're ending this thing down here bullish, I think there's a possibility we just see a squeeze. Yeah. For the micro tracking down here, we're tracking this. I think it's now quite nearly 100% that this is our higher low, the last higher low we should do. But I still think we are not finished. Yeah. Our V under A is here at 27 cents. 3 cents away where we are. We are sitting at 30 cents right now. And if you're doing this macro tracking wise, we have here top, our C, lower high, midpoint T. We still need one little drop here. Maybe pre-market. I mean, we are talking about 3 cents. I know for FFAI, that's, I think, 10%. Yeah, 11%. I still would think we could do that in pre-market. Because for FFAI, 11% is not much. Look at this candle here. 11%. Look at this candle here. 8%. We are on the 4-hour chart. Look at this candle here. 15%. Look at this candle here. This was a Tuesday. In the morning, 8%. Yeah. So maybe we knife on Monday and then we finally get the bounce. Would be perfect. Yeah. For the conclusion, believe it or not, I am bullish on FFAI. That doesn't change that I hate FFAI. Yeah, I still don't like it. Just because it broke this beautiful higher low back then and is doing shitty here. Yeah, so I hate FFAI. But it doesn't matter. Price action wise, I would say I am bullish. For levels, everything over 45 is extreme bullish, and I think we are already running. We don't talking about the bearish alternative anymore. Again, 27 cents is our bounce target range, 27, 25, 24, 26. And again, anything on or under 20 cents, and this thing is dead. Just because higher low is broken, it becomes T, same as BYND. They already voted for a reverse split. So if we break that, they will do a reverse split, most likely. And then the play is that, or they go bankrupt, or they get OTC, whatever. We don't want to break 20 cents. But we are quite far away from that, so yeah. Bullish on FFAI. Next one, GNS. So for GNS, it started its IPO in its C, but knifed. Yeah, so we also don't see, never saw A or B. Yeah? Then we made our lower high, midpoint T. And also for GNS, April 2025 has to be our all-time low. Then we did our higher low till yet now. We will look at that in a second. Our next target for bullish would be an A over 6, pullback, and B over 80, pullback, and then all-time high or whatever. We did a reverse split here, a 1 to 10, a small one. So these targets are still okay. Yeah, so you could do that. Also here, similar to FFAI, I don't think we need the A and B, because if you look at the landmarks, they are always vertical. Yeah, so if we come out of this bullish, we could do something like that. Now to the higher low. And here comes the problem. We didn't broke it yet. Yeah. And the shitty part is that we broke this higher low. This was previous our higher low. We broke that on Tuesday. Yeah. On Tuesday already. So this can only be T. And here comes the point. This T has to be finished on Friday. This Friday. Yeah. June 12th. It has to be finished. We have to see, and I say that absolutely clearly, we have to see on Monday, a reversal. Why? Because our higher low started here at 2049. Yeah. If we zoom in on Friday, we came low as 2055. We were 0.0007 cents away of dying. You know how fucking close that is? But one thing I have to say, it's a higher low. It's okay. I have to say, I never, not never, but I really nearly never see a higher low coming so close to be wrong. So fucking close. But technically, it's still a higher low. But as I said, for this, there is no room. Not even for a 0.005% downtrend. You have to bounce on Monday. Otherwise, this thing is dead. Yeah. For bullish, we might, because why should it be easy? Yeah. We could now do the micro higher low, so that we get sweaty again here and bounce, or we just go from here. Both possible. But in the case we're breaking 20, what is that? 2047. No. Then this higher low is dead. This becomes T and buy. Same as BYND, same as FFAI. Just that this thing is really seconds away from death. Yeah. My stop loss is sitting at 20 cents. I'm not changing that. I bought here, as I said. I will be gone at 20 cents. Yeah. Just because I don't know if they have a reverse split, but it doesn't matter. Reverse split, OTC, or whatever. Yeah. So for the conclusion for me, for GNS, I'm bearish on GNS. We are too low. I'm not giving up on it yet, but I think we will get our answer next week. Yeah, maybe already on Monday. A good bounce, perfect. Something under that, and this thing is that. Yeah. For levels, at least go over 30 cents to be slightly bullish. A break over 52 cents, okay. We can talk very bullish again. But breaking 20 cents, and that thing is over. For me at least. I could be wrong. Would be sad because it was long tracking, but sometimes these shitty companies are just dying. Or they are not dying. Maybe they really do just a reverse split, yeah, and they will be fine. Could be, yeah. But the thing is, you have to imagine this. If this is T, yeah, you will do this fall. Okay, if they're doing a 1 to 100 reverse split or whatever, they're sitting then at $10 here. Yeah, the fall will still be there. Yeah, so if they do that, okay, we can start tracking that again. Okay, we can. Yeah, after the V down here, but I think we can all agree that nobody wants to sit with shares, or even worse, with options. Okay, there are no options. So with shares through a reverse split. Nobody likes that, right? So yeah, for the play now, a break of 20 would be bad. Okay, next one, NIO. So I cleaned up the chart a little bit. Yeah, deleted everything what we don't need anymore. It's still one of two, right? Is the other one. Very, very easy fractals for me still. And it's still nicely working. To explain what it is, I would still say that this section here is still the same like this section here. The only difference is that this section here is way slower than this one. This was quicker. Yeah. What I mean, NIO started its IPO with its M, with its midpoint. Went down, come up. Went down, come up. Fell down, did a higher low, did a little higher low, was way quicker here, came up to T. Came up to T. And then it fell to its all-time low and fell down to its lower low. Then we did this higher low, broke out of the trend line to our A. Till here, everything is fine. Then in 2020, we made a 618 pullback. The same thing we did in 2025, 2026, 618 pullback. We did then this little higher low here. Whoop. We did this little higher low here. And now it gets tricky. Yeah. Because I still think that we are somewhere in here. This would be this. But it's not one-to-one anymore. Perfect example for it can look similar. Sometimes it's not one-to-one anymore. Because I said back here, I don't want to see a break of this, of 530. Yeah. But it's not looking bad. Still. Yeah. I don't think we are finished yet, because this is a double bottom. And if we look at this thing alone, this would be just C, lower high, midpoint, T. I think we still need one more drop. I would say between 5 and 5.10. We are sitting at 5.21 right now, so 20 to 10 cents. We still need to the downside, 5% if you look only at percentages wise. And then bounce. Still looks absolutely great. For levels I don't want to break is, as I said earlier, if we go or touch 438, something is terribly, terribly wrong. I really mean that. Yeah, it's a joke from someone else, but yeah, 438 and something is wrong. Yeah, I always said I have no alternative for NIO. I still don't have. The only alternative if we do that, I could imagine is, I mean, this becomes T then. Yeah, that's pretty clear. But if you look back here in 2020, for our latest T, for our V, we did also a higher low. That's also okay. But we already broke the 618 here. Yeah. If we would have done this here, I would say, yeah, okay, shit, not working. But we bounced here the 0.618. That's why I don't see it yet. I don't see it. But if we break 438, we have to look for an alternative because we are not allowed to do that. Right now, it still looks good. Next price target is still over 16. And my projection for this was from this M to this V to this B would be the same like this M to this V to this B is still end of June. I mean, I don't know what would happen because from here to here, that would be a 200 to 300% run. But I mean, from here to here, it was also, okay, we would go from here to here. Yeah, 300 to 400% run. Whatever news we get. Even if the June ones is not holding, I would still look for summer. Yeah? If you're not already in it, yeah, I wouldn't look for June contracts. Yeah? Augusts are okay. But if you look, the thing is, what we are looking after that, just saying, you see this? This is here the B pullback. It's not a 0.5. That's not a big pullback. It's just up, down, up. Yeah? I would still say we could have just a chance to see the C this year or early next year. So no financial advice. My main position is January's. Not because I think this landmark will take till then, just because if this is just a really quick or if it is just jumping B, I want to have time. But NIO looks perfect. Still. Okay, for the conclusion. So for NIO, I'm extremely bullish. Yeah, it doesn't happen often, but I'm extremely bullish. Our bounce target, sorry, let's take the German one. The bounce target is $5-ish now, yeah, as I showed you. Bearish, extremely bearish, is 483. We don't allow to touch or break that. And for confirmation, everything over $7. And we're already going. Okay, good. Next one, GoPro. Well, GoPro, it gets a little bit tricky already. Just saying. First of all, the IPO was a little bit weird. We will look at that in a second. Just from our C, we have our low high, midpoint. This has to be T for our macro tracking. And it's quite weird because M and T is very close to each other. For the bullish tracking, our V, all-time low, in April 2025 has to be our V and all-time low. Then we did a perfect higher low from here to here, perfect higher low, and bounced. So, the thing is, okay, before we go into the micro tracking, we have two versions of this. First, the normal version would be, we do now our breakout. Our normal macro A has to go over T, yeah, maybe under M, but we shouldn't go under this trend line again. In that case, we can take the FIB again. And if it's a 618, we're going to 26. If it's a 25, we are going over 15-ish. Pullback and going up again. Here comes why we even looking at GoPro, because if you look at IPO, you could say before this was the higher low, V, then we did our A, 618 pullback under the 618, bounced, and massive gap up. This is gapping you over all-time highs. So if we go now here for this micro tracking, we are close to bad, I would say. The thing is, because this was our previous, this is still our A. Yeah? And I'm not just writing these things, also just saying, if I use a landmark asset, A, B, C, higher, this has a reason. What is the reason for this? Just because this would be our little a. We did a V, we did a higher low. We ran up over T, but under M. That's the reason why this would be a perfect A landmark. And then we are pulling back right now. Yeah. The problem here, the same like BYND, for example, we are very fucking close that this can't be A anymore, because A isn't going under 786. That's a fact. It isn't. We are not there yet. But normally, there are so few cases where A is pulling back so low. So few cases. Normally, an A is bouncing in this range. Latest. And we are already under that. So for this, still, if this is an A, we have here our C, our lower high, midpoint, T. This has to be the V. Yeah. We have to bounce also next week. We might do a little micro high low and go, but for this version, we have to bounce. We really have to bounce. There's not much, there's no place left. Yeah, the 786 is sitting at 75.24 cents. No place for downside anymore. If we go down still, because it would be unfair to give BYND the chance, but go pro node. Yeah. In that case, you could still say this is a weird high low. Okay, fine. Then you could still even fall to 63. Yeah, something like that. But you should also get a bounce. The absolute 100% no-no line for this is 59 cents. If you go over under 59 cents, it's bad. Because, why? Because in that case, this whole thing becomes just M, and this most likely will become a T. Yeah, that's the shittiest thing. It would solve some things, I have to say that. Yeah, because then the M and T are way further apart of each other. Yeah. But then you will make a new all-time low, and then higher low, and it will take more time. Yeah, that's why the play would be on the sideline, because it would be hands off. Yeah, so let's see what we're doing next week. I think we will get our answer on many things next week, because especially when we look at IWM, SPY, and Nasdaq next week. But whatever we are doing, 59 cents is a no-go. Yeah. Now for the conclusion. Okay, for the conclusion, I'm middle bearish. Yeah, a little bit more than slightly bearish, just because we came too low. Again, 59 cents, and it's hands off for me. If we break over under 75 cents, yeah, and we still say that this is a higher low, I would still be then really big bearish. Yeah, because normally we're not doing that. Otherwise, everything over 69 cents. So if we bounce here and go over 69 cents, I would be extremely bullish, because then we did the trend change, and then we can talk about bullish versions 100% again. Yeah. Right now, it's a little bit tricky, but let's see. Next one, Virgin Galactic. So for the tracking for Virgin Galactic, we also have a weird IPO. Then all-time high, lower high, midpoint. For the bullish version, has this to be T. And for the bullish version, April 2026 has to be our V. Then we went over T, beautiful A. And then we got this pullback on Friday. I warned about in the last video before that. Yeah. I said, wait for confirmation, even if you have to buy more expensive things then, but I said this could be just M. And well, we got a 30% drop on Friday, but this was our top easily, an A, L, and this is clearly M now. So the thing with this is, if this is our V, yeah, then we did this higher low here, perfect. So first higher low, second higher low, breakout retest. The thing is, what we did on Friday was already a 618 pullback. Now the problem comes, was that enough? Yeah. Our M started here. And our M closed with this candle here. Yeah, maybe let's look on the 10 minutes so you see it better. Yeah. Our M closed with this candle here. To make that clear. Yeah. Because it was so volatile. Yeah, I mean, the news was also funny. Yeah. Yeah, it dropped because people bought SPCE because they thought they're buying SPCX. I think that was the same story for AMCX in 2021. The only problem is if you look at AMCX back then, it was pretty clear to a breakout, but news. Okay. But because of the volatility, you could say maybe you put your T in here. Okay. Then this was already your V. Yeah. You might do a higher low here now. And then you go. Or you still need your T. What would that be? In that case, you have two ways. You could come up here. Oh my God. You come up here, make your T, and drop one more lower. Or this little fucking shit candle here will be already a T. And you drop now. Yeah. You only have these two versions. Again, as we saw in GoPro before, something like this. I would say 328, 338, that should be your bounce level for this. Anything lower, especially if you break 288, and this is over. Yeah. And you will go to all-time lows. And this was just a T. Just saying. Otherwise, I really have to say, if we bounce somewhere down here, your next target is 133. Because over M for your B. We did one reverse split, 1 to 20. That is still okay for that. I don't think you will go to all-time highs. That's too much because of the reverse split. But somewhere in this range is still okay. I would still say wait. Yeah. I would wait for confirmation. Confirmation for me would be anything over $7. Or at least anything over this trend line to see trend change. But otherwise, not looking so bad. So for the conclusion, so for Virgin Galactic, I'm a little bit bullish. I have no position, to make that absolutely clear. If we go over 684, I might do. Yeah, so over 684, I would get extreme bullish. Yeah. Bounce target for now would be 33 to 345-ish. And if you break 304, I would get extreme bearish and would run. Yeah, if I would be in. Just saying. Okay, so, and for the last section, we're talking about IWM, SPY, QQ, and VIX. So, here again, my IWM tracking. Again, not really my fractal method. It's just the pure fractal with it looks like, where similar movements are playing out over and over again. It can work. Right now for IWM, it's working. I already showed that in the past. For Nasdaq, it worked very fine. For a certain time. I'm repeating that again. If you're using only bars pattern all the time, you will get fucked. So, It's pretty similar, self-explained, I think. Yeah, peak, 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 low, low, whatever. What's interesting is, yeah, for AMC and GME, back here in January 2021, there was the first squeeze. Yeah. What I'm tracking on this is this section here is 1-to-1 to this section. The difference is that this section already broke all-time highs. This section back then didn't. The only explanation I have for this is that this low was way lower than this. And that's why this whole section is higher now. Yeah. If it's working, that's the only explanation. But the thing is, I mean, this bars pattern here is this bars pattern here, yeah, from July 2020. And if you lay that over each other, you see that? It's nearly 1-to-1. I mean, there are some higher highs and some lower lows, but it's nearly 1-to-1. It's fucking stupid. Yeah. So the thing is, this here took us to this breakout point 230 days. From here, let's put it away. From this RV to our breaking point now, if we're doing the same, it took us 439 days-ish. Doesn't have to be 100%. From this breakout to our squeeze target, it was 82 days. So if this is double as long, and we now doing the same shit like 2021, which there's no proof for that, but if this would be 160-ish days or a little bit more, which brings us into November, December, January. Just saying, it would make sense. If we do that, that's the bear version for the memes. Let's see. Yeah, maybe, maybe not. But it doesn't matter. This is only IWMs by Nasdaq. Let's look what we could expect for next week. So we zoom in here and here. So let's zoom in here and here. Where is it? So on the left side, we are on the 6 hour from October 20 to November 20. And the thing is, because we could get also quicker. Yeah, maybe we're not doing 160 days. Maybe we are way quicker because we are looking at this at the 10-minute. This is 6 hour. Yeah, so this took us 27 days. And this took us only 18 days. Yeah? Maybe we're getting a little bit quicker. But I think also this is pretty self-explained. Yeah, peak, peak, lower high, low, low, higher low, lower low, lower low. The important part about this is we had a gap here. We had a gap here. Then on Thursday, we had this stupid Trump deep peace deal, blah, blah, yeah, market fake shit. And the first time I saw SPY jumping $10 in seconds, up and down. I never saw it. Yeah, I saw volatility, but nothing like this. So back here, we had another gap. I think that this volatility day was just a similar thing to this gap. Yeah. And then we broke over all-time highs on Friday. So the thing here is, let's go even lower on the time frame for this, because it is quite interesting if I find my position now again. But there. So what I wanted to show is especially this section here. Yeah. If I'm right, yeah, maybe. But the thing is, if you're comparing these two, what do you see? Isn't that the same fucking shit? You went up, down, up. You went up, down, up. You went into close on a Friday. To make that clear, what we are talking here about. We went to a close on Friday, November 6th. This here is November 6th. this here is June 6th, Friday. It's the same fucking thing. Maybe. Yeah. It could be illusion. Could be an illusion. If not, we're seeing a fucking gap up on Monday. I mean, this was what? This was an 8% jump. An 8% jump was that. If you're doing the same shit now, I mean, you shouldn't do percentage. Really, that's most of the time isn't working. I really say that, yeah. But if it's only a 5% something, yeah, maybe it's an 8 or even more, because if you look at our market, it's fucking very good. That jumps IWM in the 317s, yeah, and that's not even the good thing, because you will do a pullback here, yeah. The thing is what coming after that this whole summer, or if you're doing it quicker, whatever that is, June, July. Yeah. If this is right, that's fucking great. Let's see. I don't know. In that case, till now, it worked fantastically, really. Except the little shock on when was that? This little shock. Yeah, on Tuesday. Yeah. But otherwise, right now, this is still working perfectly. So I just want to see this gap up to confirm this. Yeah. I mean, of course, also nice. Yeah. But want just to see that to confirm this, because this looks fucking fire. Yeah. Okay. Let's look in Nasdaq too, because I already showed it. And I said that Nasdaq, I think, will give us confirmation before SPY. Yeah? Both of them are since June 3rd in their broadening wedges. And for bullish tracking, you have here your top, your C, lower high, midpoint T, down to your V, did your higher low, did your little A, did the fucking day where Trump placed the tweet at the fucking perfect minute, and broke out. Yeah. And Nasdaq already broke its wedge. And that's not really a confirmation yet, because, yeah, it depends. You could also say like this. Yeah. But the thing is, if we're doing now our A, yeah, then your version would be something, and that's only if you're looking for A pullback, B pullback. We know from Nasdaq and SPY nowadays that sometimes we just say we don't care about the pullbacks. But your target would be something 741-ish. That is confirmation for Nasdaq. If you go, I think, over 225, 725 and 730, that is confirmation that this is a bullish breakout. With the IWM tracking, plus the IWM tracking, oh fuck's sake, this thing is start ripping. Same, wait, alternative, before we get too bullish on this channel. As I said, you could also draw the trend line here. If you reject here, yeah, then this becomes T. And this is M, and this is L. In that case, it gets very bad, very quick, just to say this, because then I think this was a top, most likely our A top, our big A top, and we still have to come down here. Yeah, 633. Not in one wish. I still think you have one bounce, but this would be a target. But it's not looking like that right now. It really isn't. It looks fucking bullish. Yeah. Good. Last thing, SPY. I mean, same tracking as SPY, as Nasdaq. Yeah. C, L, M, T, V, A, the higher low you just jumped, and you broke out. Yeah. But as I said, this here is just a small trend, the small wedge. You broke out of that and made a break and retest, but your big broadening wedge is still up here. Yeah. So as I said, I think Nasdaq gives you the first answer. Yeah. or IWM. Yeah. But for SPY, I mean, that would be something like, yeah, 756. If you do the pullback for A and B, which most of the time nowadays we don't. Yeah. So it looks also fucking great. Yeah. And one thing before I forget it. Yeah. VIX. Yeah. It is fire. It's fucking fire. Again, if you don't know it, yeah, volatility index means, in short, market up, VIX down. VIX up, market down. Yeah, it's a little bit more, but that's the biggest conclusion. And for my tracking since August, our peak C, lower high, M. And the M was never finished. I mean, we got a little shock on Wednesday and Tuesday, because I thought we already did M, a little M. I thought we would go down here. We got this jump. But I said in the last video, we most likely will reject this trend. And if we reach that, I will buy puts. And what the hell? You already knifed 25%. Perfect. Also, to say this, I thought because of SpaceX, yeah, it was generally funny, yeah. You had two teams. SpaceX will kill the market. SpaceX will get all the liquidity. The market will crash. And the other team, SpaceX will pump the market. It will be an explosion. And most of the time, when you have so big two crowds with so extremely different ideas, what happens? Nothing. And it was nothing. Yeah. I mean, the most biggest IPO in history and the biggest volatility, and VIX just knifed. It's hilarious. Yeah. But to say that, this chart here, how would you think about this chart here? Yeah. I mean, not even with my theory, but how is that look? Does this chart, especially just this one, does this look bullish? Because for me, this screams bearish as fuck. And if VIX is bearish as fuck, the market is bullish as fuck. Yeah? So, for the most bullish case, you will knife. You will go down on the 15. You will get a little bounce for your little T, and then you will knife down to $12 just to finish M. Yeah? I mean, maybe you can come up here again for your M and then T, yeah, but the direction is downside. And this downside is fucking bullish for the market. So let's see. Let's see. Everyone expected chaos on Friday. What if we getting chaos on Monday? Yeah, that would be my question. No. Let's see. Okay. I was a little bit quicker than in the German video, but I think I showed everything. Okay. As always, explanation video here, playlist here. The big update we did, we don't need, because this is now roadmaps 2.0. For everything else, yeah, just saying, let's look. What do we have still? DGT already made the update yesterday. Nothing changed. Bad Buffer and Beyond, it's the old tracking. It's not really moving right now. Yeah, but it's still bullish. Fucking great. Right, nothing changed. Fucking great. C3I, great. Cloth, great. HKT, YOLO play. We have to wait. GDC, it will live or die. Absolutely YOLO play. Oakley already updated. Plug still looks okay. Unity still looks okay. Can Opening and Sundial. I will look at, I just don't have really much time now left, but I will make an update on the homepage just for these two. But again, let's see. They really have to bounce, but I think they have to do a lower low. But I will make an update on the homepage. I will make a good drawing to make that clear. Okay. Well, again, as always, sorry that I say it now again. Yeah. Explanation video, playlist. If you liked it, leave a like. If you want to see more, an abo. And let's see what happens on Monday. It will be interesting. See ya.